All right, we're back with another edition of Rage in a Cage. I'm your host, Frank BamBam Horak. To the right of me is my co-host, Mikey Schwaggs.
Hey Frank, how's it going? We had a wonderful event on Saturday, UFC 143. It was jam-packed with action.
You could say that, yes. It was a great event. But before we get into the UFC, I just want to make one more quick Giant thing that I forgot to mention in the last segment.
Yes, get into it.
Jerry Reese, Giants general manager, took a lot of heat before the season started. You know, how could you let Steve Smith go? How could you let Kevin Boss go? You know, the Eagles are making all the free agent moves. You're not making any moves. And he calmly just said, let's just wait and see. I know with the type of talent we have in the locker room, I'm not worried this team is going to be good. Everyone should just relax. And he was right. So I just wanted to give Jerry Reese a couple little props because he's one of the best GMs in my opinion in the NFL. Him and his whole staff, they're great. They have a great draft every year. So kudos to Jerry Reese.
Well, you're sending kudos out to the Reeses. I'm going to send my kudos out to the Maras, who they got their second Super Bowl, and they could be looking at a possible Oscar with their niece, Rooney Mara, who was nominated for the girl with the dragon tattoo. So good luck to her in the next coming weeks.
All right, Schwaggs, that was nice of you. All right, let's get into this UFC 143. Let's talk about a couple of the prelims first.
Oh, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the first prelim fight. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson making his UFC debut versus Dan Stingeon. Now I want to get into this guy Thompson because there's a lot of hype surrounding him.
Yes, there is.
He's supposedly the American Lyoto Machida, and you know what? He showed it in the fight.
He showed some nasty kicks that he had. And
he was the kicks he was throwing like these side front kicks. I've never even seen like.
No. Like they call him, like they compare him a lot to Machida, but I've never even seen Machida.
No, I've never seen
stuff. And yeah, no, I mean obviously he wasn't facing like a top guy, but still he looked very impressive for his debut, without question.
And he got knockout of the night with
he did, and it was well deserved because that was a nasty head kick. Guy never saw it coming.
No, he thought it was going to the body, and
yeah, no, very impressive for Thompson. Very impressive for his UFC debut. No question about it.
Definitely.
He definitely now obviously his debut, so now he's going to move up a little bit in that welterweight division. Who would you like to see him fight next?
I'd like to see him against another like highly regarded prospect, I guess you would say, in Jimmy Hedges. You know, he just came off of a victory.
Yeah, he did.
He dominated that fight.
He did. It's not a bad thing. Another welterweight that won on the card was a Matt Riddle. I would think that would be a nice little step up because I think Hedges might be a little bigger of a jump. I would think Riddle would be a little better of an opponent for him for a second fight in the UFC. But either way, it would be a good matchup.
Okay. Now let's get into another prelim bout that we talked about. Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres versus Edwin Figueroa, in which many viewed as a controversial decision. You didn't view it as.
Did. Well, I did pick Figueroa. You picked Bruce Leroy.
Well, it doesn't count, so don't worry about it.
But anyway, yes. Well, listen. I mean, he kicked Figueroa in the no place twice.
In the no place.
No place. He kicked him there twice. I mean, Herb Dean, in my opinion, is the best ref in the biz. It is though. I mean, he took 2 points away. You usually don't see that.
When do you ever see 2 points taken away from 2 groin kicks? I could see 1 point, Frank. 1 point.
Absolutely.
It wasn't like he kicked him 4 times. He only kicked him twice.
No, I know. So, I mean, listen, we definitely should have got a point taken away. 2 points. Was very surprised.
And that was ultimately the reason why he lost the fight.
It was.
He lost a split decision.
I like to see them then rematched then where it would make the most sense
that would be very, what's his name? Nam Fan and Leonard Garcia, they also had a controversial decision, and they did a rematch literally right after that. They were the next.
You've seen that in a couple.
So yeah, I agree.
I would think
controversial. I think there should be a rematch.
I was surprised with the 2 points. Definitely should have taken 1. Surprised with the 2, but yeah, I would say those 2 guys should rematch.
And I seen an interview of Caceres, and he was saying that he felt Figueroa was milking the injury. He said,
listen, it's tough to tell.
Figueroa even admitted to him that the second kick didn't even hit the groin.
Is that right?
It hit the leg, but the vibrations from the leg kick hurt his groin.
Well, listen, it's tough to say when a guy's faking an injury if he's getting kicked in the,
I just thought, Herb Dean, come on. 2 points? That's ridiculous, Herb. You're better than that. You really are.
So let's rematch those 2 fellas, and
yeah.
Then in the final prelim fight,
and we were talking about this guy saying,
yes, we were.
He's a possible #1 contender in Dustin Poirier, and he dismantled Max Holloway in his
Yeah.
UFC debut.
I mean, to Max Holloway's credit, he was taking the fight on short notice, 20 years old.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
I mean, he was Poirier's third opponent. The first two were out with injuries. So, I mean, good for the kid for stepping up, but no, he dominated, and he's right there for a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
Probably give him maybe one more fight. Who'd you think for the one more fight?
I'd like to see one of his original opponents. I think was supposed to be Eric Koch, and I'd like to see him in the matchup with him or maybe Hatsu Hioki, the highly regarded Japanese.
Yeah, I was thinking Koch. Have that as the number one contender to fight Aldo. I think they're both right at that level, right there, right knocking on the door for a title shot. I like to see that fight because I don't think Poirier should get the title shot at because Holloway obviously young kid taking the fight on short notice.
Yeah.
So I don't think he should get a title shot off that.
No, it's definitely not.
He's certainly right there.
But it wasn't a number one contender like victory.
No. It was a number one contender type victory. It was an impressive victory,
but it wasn't against
not
a number
against
one contender type opponent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right,
does that wrap up the prelims?
I think that we covered the prelims. But I mean, obviously there was some more fights on there. We had the Matt Riddle fight. There was a couple others, but I think let's get into this main card. When we come back, we're going to break down the 5 fights. Some good ones.
Some great ones.
Some great ones.
Some controversial ones too.
A little controversial, yeah. So we'll
Not
be
in
right
my
back.
opinion.
We'll be right back.